if Mr. Patterson can now attend the meeting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. On page 3, Resolution 584, $236,000 is a lot of money going to the Gateway Y for emergency shelter. The question is, which Y location are we talking about? And please explain the breakdown of spending of the $236,000. And what is their administration fee that they're taking? On page 3 and 4, it's a resolution 585 and 590. And these are two resolutions for Family Promise in Summit, one for a 25% increase change order and one for an 18% increase change order. And both resos total $315,000. Number 585 actually was explained, so thank you very much. So for 590, I'd like to know what the money is now being used for. That was $190,000. Let's see, resolution on page 4, number 588. We're looking at change orders to Groundwork Elizabeth for a total of all extensions. I believe from 2017 it totals $250,000 just to administer green grants. Although this could easily have been administered by Union County itself, since you have 2,600 plus employees, or even Rutgers Cooperative. The question is, how much has gone to the residents through the grants, and then how much has been funneled into Groundwork Elizabeth for their administration fees? On page 5 and 6, resolutions 600, 607, and 608. These resolutions are expenditures of the Federal CARES Act monies, and just these three total $10.6 million. My question is there a ledger right now detailing all the CARES Act expenditures and money coming in to who and for what? Because I would like to Oprah that. Page 5, Reso 601. This is a $500,000 grant to Elmwood Square for building affordable units in Plainfield. I do appreciate Director Wagner's explanation that there's 58 units involved. Since you're spending the 21 towns' tax monies, I would like you guys to push Fair Share Housing Center to back down on forcing so much obligations on the other county towns. Developers are building 4 to 5 times luxury rate residential units for each affordable unit, creating huge overdevelopments. And I'm sure you see this when you drive around. This action would at least save around 250 extra luxury units having to be built. Page 6, Resolution 602. This is spending $280,000 to help low income to purchase affordable housing. And I appreciate, again, Director Wagner's explanation. And New Jersey is definitely in need of affordable housing, no doubt about that. However, you missed the point that affordable housing is being built and it's already affordable. I don't see any reason why you need to be funneling money to the people to purchase and occupy these affordable units that are already affordable. It seems to be a slap in the face of the county taxpayers that are funneling the money to these people and also having to accept all these huge high-density projects. I think you should vote no on this. Page 6, Resolution 605. It's nice, $100,000 and 50,000 chunks of Federal CARES Act monies being funneled to an ex-New Jersey Governor Florio's legal firm for special legal services. Mr. Oatman did explain what it is, but my question is, well, what's so special that our new $175,000 a year county council Bergen and his staff can't do? Last one, actually, it's a new one. Reso 609. That's the Cadillac dealership on Grand Street you guys are referring to. Guzzo did have a property study on that maybe about 5 years ago. But, I heard something like $130 million or $120 million in cost savings. And that's only half the picture because you're talking about bond costs and the principal and the interest is going to eat all that up. I'm only guessing building costs are going to be about $60 million, interest at $30 million. I mean, you're talking about $100 million anyway. So you're really not seeing anywhere near that dollar amount savings. And I don't want to hear anybody say that we're saving $130 million on this process. So please keep that down. So thank you very much. And I have no general comments, or maybe I do if I have time. You guys actually have a lot of county people in some center calling about the census. My question is, why didn't you hire people that are out of work from the private sector instead of the taken from the public sector. I mean, the private sector is in dire need of jobs, and you should have done that, but I guess you just wanted to dip back into the public sector. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Patterson, thank you. I will close that portion of the meeting, and we'll go on to answer some of these questions if we can. 584, I believe, was Director Anderson. If you can take a look at that and answer any thoughts on that.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Sorry, I'm having camera issues. So the Gateway Y is not receiving any administrative costs. So Gateway Y is one of 2 shelters in Union County working with our homeless population. This $236,000 is for cleaning, sanitation, and sterilization for the shelter facility to keep them open. Shelters are deemed essential services. This is a FEMA reimbursement, reimbursable expense. So, and it's very important to keep that shelter open. So that's why I'm asking for approval of this.
Okay, great. And Director, while we have you, I think there was a question on 590 as well, Family Promise.
So the 590, the increase to the Family Promise is through the Homeless Trust Fund. And this is to deliver, again, programs for the homeless and imminent homeless population and case management, working with persons 250% of the poverty guidelines. And again, we've had additional dollars through the filings from the county clerk, because that's how the fund is established. The committee meets and they deem that because there's a rise due to COVID for the homeless population, they would give more money to this, and that's where the additional $31,000. These nonprofit organizations across the board is about a 5% administrative cost and no more.
Okay, Director Anderson, thank you. Very thorough answer as usual. Let's move to the Groundworks. Elizabeth, I see the tremendous benefit this organization brings to all the myriad of garden grants, particularly their latest charge has been helping with, different gardens in schools and in municipalities. I've seen the benefits from the school children. I wonder if Administrator Vicki Durbin Drake is on the line and she wants to add any flavor to that, but I certainly see it as a necessary partner that we have that does a terrific job.
Thank you, Chairman, and through you, to specifically address the question of their administrative fee. It's a 20% administrative fee. It's important to note, however, that the $106,000 allotted for 2020, the pandemic interrupted that grant. So while the funding is there, it's uncertain as to whether we can move forward and in what manner we can move forward. If schools are not in session, we will not be building gardens in the schools. So the $106,000 for 2020 is allotted but not spent.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. I know, Freeholder Granados was instrumental in creating this program, and they've been terrific partners from day one, and they continue to be.
Chairman, can I add a couple comments into?
Please.
Just in reference that to what Mr. Patterson's saying, it's more than just administrating the 2 grants. What they're actually doing is providing all the supplies and all the material that goes into creating these gardens across the school districts, across different senior buildings, et cetera, around the county. So it's more than just providing, looking at grants. They're actually providing the material. They're actually providing the workers also who come out and build these gardens across the school districts that not only benefit the schools, but also 30% of those produce goes back to local shelters and food pantries to help out those in need. So it's more than just administration. It's actually providing the full caveat of the garden build. Thank you, Chairman.
Good. No, thank you for adding that. And thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
We'll go, County Manager, do you want to handle the CARES dollars, question 600, 607, 608? And you might as well discuss the attorney, and you made the explanation, I thought very well up front with how we need to use that firm so that we don't either overspend or spend incorrectly. But can you touch on those things, please?
Sure, Chairman. I try to get to all the points. For the census calls, we are repurposing existing county staff. So I'm not exactly sure of Mr. Patterson's question, but it was something we were able to do during COVID when people were working remotely and also having to space people out. So we're trying to efficiently use our employees as best possible way, taking advantage or with the current circumstances going on in the world. For 609, this will save the county about $120 million over 30 years. We had a financial analysis done that took into effect the construction costs and things like that versus how much we pay in lease and rent payments every year. And that's where that number derived from. So that is including all the building that goes on. As for the legal question, the rate is what we pay our existing attorneys for any outside counsel work. Also, the scope of the work has increased because we are taking on many more projects, such as small business grant program. We have something on the agenda for schools today, and we will keep, advancing programs as the year goes on. So the scope of work has increased throughout the life of this contract. And off the top of my head, that's about 0.1% we're spending on the CARES money for outside counsel to make sure we're not, we are up to par with the government standards. And I think I touched on everything. If I missed anything, I apologize.
Okay, and I think the last thing, the something for the deputy county manager, if there's anything there that you want to speak on, I believe it was 601 or 602. Is there anything you want to add for that, Amy?
Yeah, I would just like to add that two things. With regards to the fair share housing, that we have zero jurisdiction over that. We don't have any input into that. And if Mr. Patterson takes issue with that, he really should bring it up with his municipality or the state of New Jersey, who actually control those agreements. We are no part of that whatsoever. And to the question about 602, Habitat for Humanity is actually a very highly regarded program where potential owners actually have a vested interest in what happens in their property. They are not just handed money. They are actually physically working to build the units they're in. So I think it's very incorrect and pretty unfair to the folks that participate in that program to suggest that they are just handed money, because that really is not the case with this program at all.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Jimmy, I think that exhausts